The Children Inspire Glass project began with a visit to the Museum of Glass in Tacoma, Washington, where they had pioneered this initiative, and it was so compelling and so powerful in terms of children's thinking and children's cognitive development that under the leadership of Carol Russell, it was brought to Emporia State, given an Emporia State University twist, and was a wonderful activity that encompassed several departments across 2 different colleges.
It's really that power of imagination and creativity and thinking without boundaries, rules that motivated us at ESU as faculty and working with students to work with children, to have them do a creature of some kind and write a story about their creature, put that creature into a clay form, and then share that with the glass students who then put it into a glass form.
It's also an attempt to take children through the whole process of creative thinking, being imaginative, creating a story, creating a monster or a figure or a form based on that story, and then realizing it in 3-dimensional glass. And our job is to kind of interpret their drawings and writings and create something that's close to what they envision.
We organized the project into 5 sessions, and being that it was a pilot project, we went into this hoping all would go fine. But the first session, we had the first 4 sessions at the Emporia Art Center, and the children, they drew their creature while writing phrases about their creature. We gave them a journal so that whether writing comes first or whether drawing their creature came first, we respected the flexibility of that. So they were able to do some drawings and then also write some key words about their creature. We promoted their thinking about what their creature might eat, where it might live, how it moved, what it did for fun, all those kinds of things to get them to stretch a little bit further, both in their illustration of the creature in their drawing, but also in words that they put together for a story.
So it started as the children created their creature using a sketchbook to create a creature using different colors of marker. The writing process actually started when they started drawing the creature on paper. And so as they were drawing, this became a pre-writing strategy for their story that they were to develop based on their creature. And so when they were drawing, they had opportunities to talk with adults and other children in the project. And the children were able to create their creature based on different conversations that they had. So the adults would have conversations with who is your creature, what does your creature do, asking questions to prompt the children as they drew their creature on paper.
It was the elementary education and early childhood faculty working with these children to encourage their creativity, encourage them to think about a story built or constructed or created around a character.
Young writers, as they create writing, they need time to think about their topic or subject for writing. And so the drawing that they did during this Children Inspired Glass project allowed them to think and to be able to think through ideas that they had for their story. So I wanted them to have a workshop approach where they were going back and forth between the artistic creation of the creature and then the artistic side of the writing of a story about their creature. And so they were able to use the workshop time to create the creature through drawing and through 3D, but then they are also able to talk with peers and talk with adults about telling a story behind their creature. And this helped in developing the creature, and it also helped in developing their story. So my role was to help facilitate that creative process through writing, and how that writing could then enhance the creative process of the creature itself.
They drafted their creature in their journal, the story about their creature, and writing students from the children's literature class here at ESU worked with Dr. Heather Caswell on helping them expanding their thoughts about their creature and their writing.
So the first part of the process was for children to use their sketchbook to sketch their creature. So we just posed the question, if you could create a creature, what creature would you create? And so children then were thinking about a creature, and the creature then was drawn onto the sketch pad as part of their initial start to creating this creature. So then they needed to think about who this creature was, what did this creature do. So the next step in the creating process was to tell the story behind the creature. And so that was where they started thinking about what the creature did, what were maybe some special powers the creature had, and that's where the story started to develop from there.
And to be able to engage this process from the beginning stages of conceptualizing both the main character and the story through the end where the child ends up with this glass figurine, this tangible reality from what was initially an idea in their mind is really about the best that one can aspire to in working with children and engaging their mind and having them learn in so many different ways about so many different things.
We also allowed children, based on where they were at in their writing and how they felt comfortable with writing, they could have an adult actually transcribe the writing for them if they wanted. The child wanted to tell the story, and then the adult would write it down for them. We had some children who they wanted to draw pictures and then write about the pictures of their creature. And so during this writing process, the children had adults there to help facilitate the writing as needed. So children were able to talk to adults as they were writing. They were able to write on their own. They were also able to go back and forth between their sketchbook and their writing, so that they were constantly revising their sketch along with revising their story of their creature. And so this allowed for this dance between the creating of the creature and then the writing of the story for the creature.
The third session, they transformed their creature from a 2D to a 3D creature. We used polymer clay, and the children worked at taking that image that they made on the paper to put that into a 3D form.
So following the writing part of the story for creating their creature, they also did a 2D in the drawing, and then they moved to 3D using clay. And so the clay colors actually matched the markers that they used to draw their 2D. And so what this did was it allowed them also to then expand their thinking of their story into a three-dimensional creation. So the three-dimensional creation of the creature also became part of their revision part of their writing, because as they were creating the 3D clay, they actually were thinking about what their creature looked like in more detail. They were adding more information to their story based on how that creature was developed.
With the children, I didn't know what the stories were. I didn't sit and help write the stories, but I started with them describing their creatures in 2D. And we gave them colored markers that were a very limited palette, to where they had the primary colors of red, blue, and yellow. We matched that up with the polymer clay. And to go from a drawing or their two-dimensional drawing on paper in color to a three-dimensional maquette or clay using polymer clay, we could again match those primary and secondary colors. And they had no challenge in putting that piece, redesigning it into the space. And to go from a flat surface into a 3D space, again, I don't think they had the final vision of it ending up in another media, which is glass.
They had already kind of thought through the story behind their creature, and so they were able to then be able to think about the details in that three-dimensional creature that they created. And so then from from the 2D to the story to the 3D clay creature, they were able to start expanding their story about events that may have happened to their creature, things that their creature did. And then this was able to allow them to think about their creature coming to life and who it would be if the creature were to join us.
The process of going from the 2D to 3D is we weren't sure for ages 5 to 10 children's developmental levels how that was going to go.
And then following the creation of the 3D, then they were able to then read their story and to think about what their story was saying about their creature and how they developed their creature further.
In the 4th session, they completed their draft of their story. We had more videos of them also reading their story so that they were able to talk about their creature in the drawing as well as the 3D, but also they were able to read their story and have that documented as well.
So it was the Department of Art, their faculty working the kiln to make the glass figurines, their students supporting those efforts, helping the children develop their clay models.
And during that time, the production of the ESU glass shop at the ESU glass shop with glass students taught by Roberta Eichenberg, they were able to look at both the 2D version and the 3D version that the child had done. And the students also read the stories that children had written so that they could take all that information then to recreate the child's design and idea into a glass form. They did, prior to that, do the glass form in a clear glass to inform them of the process, and then they did the glass form after the child looked at the clear glass form, and they were able to say what was accurate, what they want changed.
So after the children kind of designed their creature and finalized drawings and writings, we do a clear version of their design, and then we speak with them about adjustments in that design, and then create one in color. And when we're working in the studio, there are about 5 to 7 students that are helping kind of construct this object. We make parts and then store them in a garage, which is a warm environment for the glass parts, and then completely assemble it all at the end.
The artists were able to see the sketch on paper, they were able to see the writing, and then they were able to see the 3D clay creature, and that's how the artists created the first clear version of the creature. And then they were able to talk with the child and find out what were some details of the creature that they felt looked appropriate, or suggestions that they had. So the artist, the glass artist and the young artist were able to talk about this glass creature that they created. And then any details that needed to come out of it then were made sure that they were put into the color glass that was created at the very end.
After we do a clear version, we meet with the kids and talk to them about, is this what you see? Is this what you envision? You know, what can we change? And a lot of times it's a little bit different from what we kind of realized in the glass. But they're very willing to compromise, which was an interesting thing that happened, because lots of times kids aren't interested in compromising. You know, they want to see it how they want to see it done how they envision it, and when they see that it's really difficult to make it in glass, then they can they realize that they need to, you know, relax their opinion a little bit.
They did a good job, no challenges. We were very positive in our critique, very little hands-on. We even took the parents' hands off of the clay. So this was their own very authentic piece of sculpture. So we went from a story to a visual story to a three-dimensional real creature to the glass, which becomes the magical final piece.
The importance is focused on cognitive development of young children. We encourage literacy, we encourage reading books, we encourage conversation with parents, we encourage storytelling, we encourage singing, we encourage listening. All of these are essential. One piece of this that is built upon the others is the creativity. To have the cognitive skills to be creative. And in this particular initiative, this project, this Children Inspire Glass, the children are given free rein to use those literacy skills to think about something new, a character that they develop, a story that they create, they invent around this character. This story has to be written. This character has to be drawn. And then there is the tactile sense of taking the clay and modeling with the clay what this character is going to look like. So it is full engagement of the mind. They get the literacy part of it, they get the listening, they get the writing, they get the kinesthetic through the clay, they get the heat of the glass, and see that process, which is amazing, transformative process of sand into something that is not sand. So that I think it's a great metaphor, this transformation of sand into glass, for what is happening to the children as they go through these different stages. They come out at the end. It's not just having this beautiful, wonderful glass figurine. It's having a mind that is working better and in a more mature fashion than it was before they embarked on this wonderful adventure.
What we know about young children and how they develop and how they grow as human beings is they need time to be creative. They need time to have their ideas be expanded and be noticed and be heard. And so this project allowed children to have a voice as young artists, a voice as young writers, and it allowed children to be able to feel confident about the ideas they have and how those ideas can come to more of a full creation of a story and of a piece of art, and also to be able to collaborate with others and be able to be heard as an equal voice in the conversation, because these young artists were able to have conversations with artists who are collaborating with them to create a piece of art.
The authenticity of children's creative process is what's at the heart of this project. Children have so much more than we give them credit for having. If we just allow them to be able to show us what they know and to give them an environment and materials to foster that and enhance that, they can show us how creative they can be, they can show us how much they know, and they can be a powerful tool in changing us as teachers as well, and be able to show us the creative process that is being stifled throughout much of our educational today.
I think one of the important things is that they go through this entire process of initiating an idea, realizing it in both writing and drawing and play, and then seeing it produced in a material that is kind of unusual. It gives them a lot of confidence in their idea. We support them the whole way, and I think that kind of helps them understand like the creative process.
We do so much structuring of children's lives, of the process and the product that they do within education, that we forget how much creativity they have inherently and how much they can do and create on their own. It's just a matter of fostering that and giving them the materials and the environment and reinforcement to do that.
To create a space where children are safe and protected to let their minds go free, knowing that there are those, or knowing that this space is that protection or affords that protection, is a function of a lot of caring faculty and a lot of caring students that we have here at Emporia State. So what a great opportunity it is, especially for the students who have as a career aspiration to become a teacher, to have this opportunity to engage in this kind of project and be partners with these students, making the abstract become real. So I salute the faculty, the art faculty, our faculty here in the Teachers College, the students across both colleges, the others who helped work with the students to get their stories focused and sharpened. Just a great appreciation from me for all of those efforts, because that's part of it. It's not just the glass figurine. Yes, that's cool, really cool, but it's the process that gets to that point in time. And without the faculty and the students, there would not have been the quality of process that there is with the Children Inspire Glass.